Thank you. Oh, perfect. So, before I start, I would like all of you to stand up. Ah, this kind of speech. Oh, I hate it. Great. Um, it's about breaking down walls, right? So, it's about breaking down the walls in our heads, as we have heard several times. And you already greeted each other, but probably you greeted each other in English or in some common language. I would like you to turn to a person that you don't know and greet that person in your mother language and try to teach the mother language to that person. Wow. Okay, perfect. Now give a big applause to your student. And please sit down again. Thank you. My name is Win, and I just learned a new word, educational junkie. And I am also an educational junkie, so I'm very happy to be here. I'm very humbled to have this opportunity to be with you and to share the next 20, 25 minutes with you. And maybe you heard I'm a health coach. From my origin, I was a health coach, and then I went more into mental and emotional health and mental coaching. And what I would like to share with you is 3 tips which may help you to break down walls in this week in a way that you feel comfortable with yourself and with the person that you're standing in front of. And before we start, I would like to ask you a few questions. So, first question is very simple. How many of you are excited about the upcoming week? Okay, the professors are more excited than the students. Okay, you can also be excited. Next question. How many of you have heard of the science of epigenetics? Great. 2. You'll learn a bit about epigenetics. And how many of you, if there was a way to do that, would like to know how you can supercharge your body and your mind in an instant? Not all, okay, good. So, it's about breaking down walls, and I would like to tell you a few stories. And we heard that traveling expands the mind and expands our experience. And in the year 500, around the year 500 AD, a person from the southern tip of India, or from some stories he's from Persia, but as I'm from India, of course, the story starts in India. A person from India wanted to travel the world. It was a monk, a Buddhist monk, and he went to the north, to the Himalayas, and then he went east to China, and he came to a temple. And there were also educational junkies trying to figure out enlightenment. And he saw them sitting there meditating, and he saw they couldn't reach their goals. And why couldn't they reach their goals? He saw that their bodies were weak. Their bodies were weak from sitting all day and trying to work with the mind, but body and mind are connected. So what we need in order to be concentrated, in order to be focused, in order to be able to really listen to each other, we have to have a strong body. So we cannot do push-ups now, of course, and squats and burpees and all that stuff, but there's one thing that you can do whenever you feel like you're losing your concentration, you're losing your focus. And we will do that together. If you have, please get up again. Ah, second time in a row. I would like you all to take a firm stand on the ground. And I want you to engage the muscles in your legs and your core, and I want you to open up your shoulders, really open and wide, and I want you to lift your head and to open your arms a little bit. Please be aware of your neighbor. And now take a few deep breaths. Deep in and deep out. This is especially important for the people of you who would consider themselves introverts. If you're an introvert, you tend to make yourself small, and your brain changes, and the way you perceive the reality will change. So try to work against it and just lift yourself up. Okay, perfect. Sit down. That was simple, right? So whenever you feel you are tired, whenever you see a person just crouching, help them to lift and to be strong and to be clear in your mind. Now, we take a strong stance, of course, and now I want you to look at this picture and tell me what you see. Okay, good. Some of you see a white triangle. And maybe some of you see a white triangle overlapping a black triangle. The truth is, there is no white triangle. And there is no 3D effect. But why do we see that? Because our brain creates it. Our brain creates and makes sense of what it sees. And it does that all the time. Whenever you see a person, your brain creates images of that person. When I was a fitness trainer and I came into a class, like a yoga class, and I was taking over the class from somebody else. And I said, I am not a yoga teacher. People started laughing. Yeah, sure, he's not a yoga teacher. Of course he's a yoga teacher. He has brown skin, he looks like a yoga teacher, so he must be a yoga teacher. They didn't take it seriously. I am not a yoga teacher. But people thought I am. So you have prejudice going in a positive direction and you have prejudice going in a negative direction. The most important thing is our brain creates the reality. And also when we communicate with others, our brain creates reality all the time. And one of the speakers talked about misunderstandings, possible misunderstandings, and I mean the risk of misunderstanding is quite high with 200 people here from all countries and from all continents. And how do we react usually if we get into a misunderstanding? Negative emotions arise. But that's a choice once you're aware of it. And everybody who's awake now should be aware of it. So there's no excuse for you this week. So instead of reacting like angry or feeling sad or whatever, you could choose a different emotion. What would be a nice emotion to react with if you're confronted with a misunderstanding? Joy. Because it's a chance to learn. It's a chance to grow. So use that as a vehicle to develop yourself and the other person. And the best way to do that is to not take yourself too seriously. Always be aware that you do not know things. Always be aware there's something like an X, which is the unknown factor in communication, inside yourself and inside the other person and in the communication. And the best way to train to not take yourself too seriously is to do something which you're not good at. And I would like to do that with you. So, have fun, enjoy, relax. we will do a yoga exercise. Well, actually, it's not a yoga exercise, as I'm not a yoga teacher, but I learned the following exercise from a very nice person who is a yoga teacher and also a martial arts grandmaster, Taekwondo grandmaster. So, from yoga, you know, there's upward facing dog and there's pigeon and all sorts of animals. And in this exercise, we will also have an animal. So, do it with me. It's a rabbit. Good. Yeah, it's two rabbits. It's only one at a time. But we have two hands, so there is a hunter. Uh-oh. Okay, now the challenge starts. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Please try, please try. Please continue and count. We had a math lessons before. It's like 2 ears with the hunter, and I don't know what this is called. It's only one. So always count. 3 ears, something's wrong. Try to. Yeah, very good. Just try. Just try. Just try. Just try. Okay. Now, take a break. Take a strong stance. Open your shoulders. Try again. Actually, we didn't start yet. So, we have a hunter and we have a rabbit. So the usual thing is the hunter hunts the rabbit. Uh-oh. Please try. Please try. Yes. And now, final stage. Of course, the rabbit doesn't run. What does a rabbit do? Hop. Okay, so the rabbit is hopping and the hunter is running. You can do competitions on that during this week, and then somebody may get a bottle of wine, the best hunter and rabbit number. Okay, perfect. Give applause to your neighbor for taking part and doing this. So, Albert Einstein said, it's harder to crack prejudice than an atom. It's harder to crack a prejudice than an atom. It's hardwired in our brains. Some things are hardwired in our brains. And once we are aware of these hardwired things, we can try to reframe them, rewire them, and change the way we think. I want you to be aware of how stress works in our body. For some of you, maybe this is the first trip to another country, or to another continent, or to encounter people from various countries. And whenever you feel stress, something changes in your brain. Actually, you don't have one brain, you have 3 brains, or maybe 4, but let's stick to 3. We have like a reptile brain, and we have a mammal brain, and then we have a small part which makes us Homo sapiens. And this part gets switched off whenever you're in stress. So maybe you know that if you're afraid of standing in front of a group and doing a presentation, you're perfectly prepared, and then you stand here and your brain just goes blank. And you feel like, and then you leave the stage, and 20 minutes later, when the blood comes back to your neocortex, you remember everything. And this stress response is hardwired from ancient times, from the Stone Age, when standing in front of a group and not being part of a group was lethal. Whenever you're asked to stand up and come in front of a group, the older parts of your brain say, do not do that, do not do that, do not do that. Oh, you have to smile, everybody's looking. Try to be smart. I don't remember anything. So, this is a stress response. And if you want to fight against the stress response, you take some coachings or you take experience standing in front of a group, and you can do something which helps you to immediately change the stress response. And I want to do that with you. So I would like you to get up again. No! Yes. How many of you know Star Wars? What? Okay. Okay, forget Star Wars. How many of you know Charlie Brown? Okay, please raise your hand a bit higher if you know Charlie Brown. And the persons who do not know Charlie Brown, please find a hand and memorize that person, because you are going to follow this person. Okay, take your hands down. We'll do an experiment. Those who know Charlie Brown know his body posture, right? So I want you to stand like Charlie Brown. So Charlie Brown is like a loser type. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. And even it cannot go wrong, it will go wrong with him. So it's raining. We didn't order rain, but it's raining and all these things. So stand like Charlie Brown. And now you have this motivational coach in front of you, and he's telling you, you have to feel great. So you have to tell yourself you feel great. So stand like Charlie Brown, and I will give you a sentence, and I want you to repeat it together as a crowd. So the sentence is, I feel great. Go. It sounds a bit like a funeral, but okay. Okay, now we take the firm stance that we learned in the beginning. Open up, straighten your spine, bring your shoulders back, and lift your head. And now try the sentence again.
I feel great.
Sounds a bit better. Try again.
I feel great.
Okay, now with a bit more conviction.
I feel
Great. And now you lift your arms, and you do it again. Go! Okay, probably you feel silly too, but you feel less stressed. So give an applause to your friends around you. Stress usually comes with fear. And as we learned in Star Wars, fear is the path to the dark side, right? Who knows the quote? Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. The dark side. To suffering. So, it's not only thinking about communication and about communicating with others, but it's also a lot thinking about yourself and how you see yourself. And some of us learn to think bad about themselves in school. I am not good enough. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. And they miss out on the truth inside, on the potential that they have. So the dark side is not only outside, but it's also inside. And if we allow negative thoughts to enter our own idea of ourselves, it will change the way we communicate with others. When we come to this world like a baby, just yesterday I had a chance to be with a 4-month-old child. What is the default position in the mind of this child? I am great. And I'm the master of the universe. I am, because whenever I cry, the universe starts to do something. I don't know what my problem is, but somebody will take care of it. Maybe I want to be cuddled, or I need some milk, or I just need some entertainment, or whatever. And somebody will do it. So this is the default position we start with. And then once we get older, people tell us, no, you're not the center of the world. This is bad. And then we take our part somewhere down there. But we forget the greatness inside of us. So what I want you to remember is that the most important thing in ourselves is to remember the greatness that we have inside of us, and also to remember the greatness that you see in others. Maybe you know this greeting of Namaste. Please do that. What is the meaning of that? Does anybody know? I'm greeting the greatness in you, which is the greatness in me. So we have two parts of the same thing joining, not closely, but being connected. And this mindset of seeing the greatness in the other person helps you to communicate better. So, this is the second thing that I would like to share with you. And the last one is this sentence. And I learned this sentence from one of my mentors in the field of entrepreneurship. He's a network marketer. His name is Daniel Fire. And fantastic person. He started his network marketing career when he was 17 years old. He went to a meeting and he saw this opportunity and he thought, okay, this is great. I want to earn a lot of money and I can have unlimited customers. So he started working, and he didn't have any money, so he had to lend money from the sponsor to buy the first products. And of course, his friends didn't have any money, so he had to sell the products to his teachers. And that's what he did. And at that time, there were no smartphones. So whenever he came home after school, he sat in front of the telephone and tried to get new customers. And his parents, of course, were not amused about that. So they switched off the phone. Okay, the younger people don't understand the story because, what? It was like with a cable, and it was hardwired, and you couldn't move it. So he went outside, and there was something in former times called a phone booth. So whenever in a break in school and after school, he just went to a phone booth, he had a list of people, and he started doing his business there until the police came and stopped him because the neighbors thought he was up to something strange. And then later on, he went on with his business, and then the sponsor left, and his teams left, all companies collapsed. So there was a lot of failure in his career. And at one point, he decided to replace negativity with gratitude. Because usually what we have is something bad is happening and we feel bad. But we don't have to. It's a choice. It's hardwired, but we have a choice to hardwire it differently. Replace negativity with gratitude. Replace negativity with gratitude. All of you here now are part of the top 5% or less in the world. All of us here are the most lucky people in the world. We are safe, we have food, we have shelter, we have the possibility to learn, to be educated. And probably some of the people around you may not understand what you are doing. Why do you want to leave home? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do that? Because there is something inside you. Les Brown, another very successful person, says there's greatness in you. There's always greatness in you. And I want you to stand up again, turn to the person next to you, and tell that person, please stand up. You're waiting. I want you to tell the person next to you 3 things that you are grateful for today. At least 3 things. Please exchange. If you don't have a partner, please find a partner. Perfect. Please keep standing. Some are already finished with their gratitude. Please stand up. Okay, keep standing. Now I would like you, you're talking with one person. Now I want you to talk, to make a group of 3 or 4 people. Make a group of 3 or 4. It's just to deepen the memory in your brain. Here are the 3 sentences. Take a strong stance. Don't take yourself too seriously. Replace negativity with gratitude. I would like you in the group of 4 to go through all these things again and exchange the memory. Go. Okay, perfect. A round of applause to your friends. More people need to know about epigenetics, so I will give you a very small information about epigenetics and what it has to do with breaking down walls. Stress and fear and all our emotions and also personality and many things are hardwired in our brain, and also some things are hardwired in our cells. We have genes in our cells, and the genes can be switched on and switched off. And depending on what you eat, and depending on how you move, and depending on your interactions with others, certain genes get switched on and others get switched off in an instant. Like if you come on stage and you're an introvert person, immediately certain genes will get switched on and others will get switched off. So the stress response will be very strong and the feeling of well-being will be strongly reduced. It's by switching on genes on and off, changing the genetic profile and how genes are read. Now, the nice thing is, whatever your genetic profile is, the epigenetic profile can be changed to a certain degree. And the way you use your brain, the way you use your body, and the way you use interaction with other people changes your epigenetic profile and changes the risk of getting some diseases or not, of getting old in a healthy way or not. And I would like to show you one of the most important supercharged exercise that you can do to switch on the right genes in an instant. And I would like you for that to get up. Of course. You don't have to like me. That's not part of the game. And I want you have to be quiet now because this is very important. You have to concentrate only 2 minutes or less to really get the full benefit out of this exercise, I want you to turn to one of the persons next to you. So everyone has a partner in front of you. Try to find a person in front of you. We can do it together. Please. Everyone has a partner? Okay. So I want you to stand in front of each other, and I want you to remember what we did in the beginning. Take a strong, firm stance. Take a strong, firm stance. Close your eyes for a minute. Open your shoulders. Open your chest. Lift your head. And now, from your center, from your core, you bring a smile into your face, the broadest smile possible. And then you open your eyes and you just share the smile with the person in front of you. And give yourself a round of applause. Thank you. Whenever you feel stressed, whenever you feel like there's a misunderstanding, I don't understand what's going on, stand strong and smile. I wish you a wonderful week and a nice day today. Thank you.